Welcome to all my dear students. Hope you all are staying at home. Be safe and take care in this pandemic situation of COVID-19. Today we are start the unit 5th B part non-aqueous solvent of paper organic and inorganic chemistry. I request to all of you please subscribe all the YouTube videos of my paper. I have already uploaded the videos on Google Classroom as well as YouTube. Please see the videos one or more times. If you have any problem, so you should send a question on Google Classroom as well as my personal WhatsApp number. So let us start the unit non-aqueous solvent. First we know what is solvent. Solvent is defined as a substance which is used to dissolve the other substance. You know very well, water is recognized as universal solvent. Why this water is called as a universal solvent? Due to the following factors. First, it can dissolve the number of substances. It is most easily available, cheaply available, and readily available. It is a neutral. That means the pH of water is 7. So it is a neutral, colorless, and non-poisonous. So it has a long liquid range. So this is a 0 degree to 100 degree. That means the 0 degree is the freezing point of water and boiling point of water is 100 degree Celsius. So water has a three state: solid, liquid as well as the gaseous state. Therefore, it is a liquid at ordinary temperature. So water has a high dielectric constant. That means the value 81.7 at 18 degrees Celsius. Therefore, it is an excellent solvent for electrovalent compound. So the dipole moment of water is 1.85. So water is the polar solvent and it can dissolve mostly the polar compound or the substance here. We are taking water which will be seen in the figure. So water has the molecule. It shows oxygen, hydrogen. Okay. So if we ionize the water, so it gives H positive and H positive and OH negative here. So again, the solvent shows some physical properties. First is the melting point and boiling point. Second one, dielectric constant, viscosity, dipole moment, heat of fusion and heat of evaporation. We can explain here one by one. You know the definition of melting point as well as the boiling point. Second one is the dielectric constant. This dielectric constant, it is the actual product of the charge, that is cations and anions, which will be present there. Then third one is viscosity. Viscosity means to viscous, to flow the liquid. And fourth one is the dipole moment. This dipole moment is the degree of polarity is expressed in terms of the dipole moment. And fifth one is heat of fusion. This is also known as enthalpy of the substance. That means the solid is changes from solid to liquid at a constant pressure. And next is the heat of vaporization. This heat of vaporization is called as a enthalpy of vaporization. So here it is, the substance will be changes to gaseous state in the heat of vaporization. Then we have to come to the main point, non-aqueous solvent. So what is the definition of this non-aqueous solvent? The solvent other than water are called as a non-aqueous solvent. Here some organic solvent are used as a non-aqueous solvent: alcohol, ether, acetone, benzene, carbon tetrachloride, etc. They are used as organic compound, but they have the little bit importance here. The name of scientist Caddy in 1897, Franklin and Corus in 1899 introduced liquid ammonia as a solvent, and Walden in 1902 investigated the liquid sulfur dioxide as a solvent. Since there are number of non-aqueous solvent reactions are there, in the compound anhydrous hydrogen fluoride, liquid hydrogen cyanide, glacial acetic acid, and anhydrous sulfuric acid have been introduced by this chemist. They can dissolve the substance by means of ionization. Therefore, they have to water like the properties. Ionization, it undergoes self ionization. First of all, we are taking the example water, H2O plus H2O, reversible arrow, formation of hydronium cations and OH hydroxide anion. So here, uh, first water molecule, when we ionize, it gives H positive and OH negative. So this H positive will be uh, accepted by the second H2O, and it forms H3O positive hydronium cations and formation of the OH. This is the base 1. This reaction is also known as the formation of conjugate acid base pair reaction here. Second one, NH3 plus NH3, NH3 plus NH3, it forms ammonium cation plus amide anion, and here this reaction shows the irreversible arrow. That means once the reactant is converted into the product, and again the product will be converted into the reactant. Then let us to move to the third reaction, SO2 plus SO2. It forms thionyl chloride SO2 positive plus SO3 2 negative sulfite anions. The next one is HF plus HF. It forms H2F uh, fluorine cations and fluoride anions here. And the another last example is hydrogen cyanide plus hydrogen cyanide. It gives cyanide cation and cyanide anions. And the next point of this topic is classification of the solvent. Classification of the solvent based on protons. Then the classification of solvent also based on polar and non-polar solvent, and also the classification of solvent will base upon the aqueous and non-aqueous nature of the solvent here. Types of the non-aqueous solvent. So first, protonic and non-protonic solvent. So in this protonic solvent means the solvent from which the protons can be derived. So is known as protonic solvent. For example, water and sulfuric. If we ionize this solvent, water and sulfuric acid, it gives H positive as well as OH negative. So twice H positive and SO4 2 negative. So this is the protonic solvent. Then next, non-protonic. So in this, from this solvent, protons cannot be derived, and such examples are liquid sulfur dioxide, benzene, and chloroform. So in this type, protic or protonic solvent, here taking some reactions are there. NH3 plus NH3, it forms ammonium cation as well as amide anions. Then HF is also formation of fluoride cation and fluoride anions. Then H2SO4, sulfuric acid, it forms the cation as well as the anions also there. So these protoic or protonic solvents have the types acidic or protogenic solvent, H2SO4, HCl, acetic acid and hydrogen cyanide. Then second, basic or protophilic solvent, ammonia as well as hydrazine. This hydrazine is also known as dinitrogen tetrahydride is there. Then the next is aprotic or non-protonic solvent, that means does not give the protons nor accept. So here it is example, benzene, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride, sulfur dioxide, and it gives the reaction N2O4 nitrosonium and nitrate is also there. Anion is formed. Then antimony chloride, two molecules of antimony chloride, it forms antimony chloride, dichloroantimonium and tetrachloroantimonate. This is the anion. And the third next one reaction is POCl3. It forms POCl2 cations plus POCl4 anions here. The second type, acidic, basic or amphoteric solvent. The solvents which have tendency to donate the protons are acidic in nature. They are called acidic solvent, and here is the example is acetic acid and hydrogen fluoride. If we ionize the acetic acid, it forms H positive plus CO, CH3CO negative. You know very well that the ionization or the dissociation of hydrogen fluoride, it forms H positive plus F negative. The solvents which have strong tendency to accept the protons are called, they are basic in nature and are called basic or protophilic in nature. So here it is liquid ammonia and pyridine C6H5N is known as pyridine. This pyridine having nitrogen having the unshared lone pair of electron on this nitrogen, and this lone pair of nitrogen donates to the central metal ion. The solvents which shows both acidic as well as the basic properties are called amphiprotic or amphoteric solvents. Here is the example: water, then acetic acid is also there. Here it is the glycine is there. Example, they are the best example of amphiprotic or amphoteric solvent. The third type is ionizing and non-ionizing. So the solvents which are capable of undergoing self-ionization, they are also known as the auto-ionization, and they are also called the ionizing solvent. Here is the example is H2O, NH3 and SO2 is there. So this type of example can undergo self-ionization or auto-ionization. The solvents which do not ionize at all are called non-ionizing solvent. For example, benzene, hydrocarbons, these are non-polar in nature. Solvation: when a solute is dissolved in solvent and the excess of the solvent is evaporated and a solid product is obtained, this contain the number of molecules of the solvent attached to the cation, anion or neutral molecule of the solute by a coordinate bond. You know very well, you know the three types of bond: ionic bond, covalent bond, and third one is coordinate covalent bond. So the definition of ionic bond means the two oppositely charged ions which are held together by electrostatic force of attraction is known as ionic bond, and the well-known example is sodium chloride, you know very well. Then covalent bond. So the definition of covalent bond is the mutual sharing of the outermost orbital and it forms the covalent bond. The example is Cl2Br2F2. There, this is the formation of covalent bond here. And third one is coordinate covalent bond. So the bond between central metal ion and donor atom of the ligand is known as coordinate bond. And coordination number, the total number of coordinate covalent bond formed between the central metal ion and the donor atom of the ligand. So this is known as coordination number. The central metal ions means they are positively charged electron diffusion center and they are also known as electrophiles. And ligand is an atom, ions or molecule which is able to donate the lone pair of electrons to the central metal ion and to form the coordinate covalent bond here. Here it is the example: formation of BF3 and NH3. Here ammonia is used as a liquid solvent and here form the complex H3N arrow BF3. So the arrow coming from nitrogen, this nitrogen having the lone pair of electron on this nitrogen, and they are able to donate the lone pair of electron to the boron of BF3 molecule which is electron deficient center, and they form the coordinate covalent bond here. The second one example is copper sulfate. Here water is solvent is used and it forms the tetraaco copper plus 2 sulfate complex. Then next one, tetramine copper plus 2 sulfate complex is there, and the last one is K positive, F negative and HF. This type of formation of coordinate covalent bond here in this type of the example here. So next, if water is the solvent, so the solvation reactions are called the hydration, and the resulting solvents are called as known as hydrates. Similarly, if ammonia is a solvent, The reactions are called as ammoniation, and the resulting solvates are known as the ammoniates. So here, uh, solulysis reaction. In this solulysis reaction, the reaction in which the solvent molecule react with the solute in such a way that the solvent molecule split up into two parts, one or both of which are attracted to the solute molecule or ion is known as solulysis or solulysis reaction. Here it is the example: H2O plus H2O, formation of H3O positive hydronium cations plus OH negative. Here water is a solvent. NH3 plus NH3 ammonium cation plus NH2 negative amide ion. Here ammonia used as a solvent here. Then the next example, this is the first example of this non-aqueous solvent, liquid ammonia as a non-aqueous solvent, and second one is sulfur dioxide used as a non-aqueous solvent. Here are some physical properties. The freezing point minus 77.7 degree, boiling point is minus 33.38 degrees Celsius, dielectric constant minus 22.0 at minus 33.5 degrees Celsius, and it is a liquid range minus 77 to minus 33 degrees Celsius. Heat of fusion 0.018 kilojoule mole inverse. Then next, heat of vaporization 23.6 kilojoule mole inverse, and it undergoes self ionization and act as an associated solvent here. So I have taken here this three important reactions. There are so many reactions are there which will be given in the notes. So first we have to take the acid base reaction. In this acid base reaction can be explained on the basis of solvent system concept. That means acid is used on direct dissociation or the reaction with the solvent to give the cations, which is a characteristic of the solvent. That means in simple words we have to explain according to the solvent system concept, acid that to give the cations and base which gives the anion. These are the simple two words which you have to remember. According to the solvent system of acid base concept, acid which gives cations, okay, which is a characteristic of the solvent, and base which gives the anion, which is a characteristic of the solvent. Here it is the example is liquid NH3 is also used here. Formation of ammonium cation act as acid, and NH2 negative amide ion acts as a bases. The nature of the neutralization reaction is ammonium chloride plus sodium amide is a base, form the salt sodium chloride, and formation of NH3 as a solvent. The next, precipitation. So what does mean by precipitation? You know very well the term precipitate. Precipitate means insoluble form of the compound. So here the mixing of this silver nitrate with barium chloride, and it forms the white precipitate of silver chloride. This downward arrow shows the which this white PPT will settle down at the in the beaker, and formation of barium nitrate as a salt here, and here silver chloride is formed the white PPT, and this reaction is known as the precipitation reaction. Ammonolysis reaction. The solulysis reaction in liquid ammonia are called ammonolysis. That means the reactions will be carried out in presence of ammonia are called ammonolysis or aminolytic reactions. Here it is some reactions are there. Hydrolysis of silicon tetrachlorides with water, it forms silicic acid, and organic halides undergo slow ammonolysis reaction to form the amines. RX alkyl halides react with ammonia, it forms primary amines and formation of ammonium halide here. This is the ammonolysis reaction. Then the next, liquid sulfur dioxide. It is also non-protonic solvent or aprotic solvent because it does not contain any hydrogen atom. It also one of the important non-aqueous solvent and widely used in industry. The physical properties of sulfur dioxide. is the freezing point minus 75.46 degrees Celsius, boiling point minus 10.02 degrees Celsius. Dielectric constant also is there 17.40, and here I am taking the most important reactions which will be asked in the examination. First, acid base reaction is also there. So you know very well, liquid sulfur dioxide undergoes autoionization twice SO2. It forms SO2 plus 2 thionyl cations and sulfite anions here. This is acid base or neutralization reaction in liquid sulfur dioxide may be given as thionyl chloride plus cesium sulfite. It forms cesium chloride and sulfur dioxide here. Then the second one, sololytic reactions. The sololytic reactions in liquid sulfur dioxide are not so common as they are in other solvents such as NH3. Certain covalent halides, phosphorus pentachloride, uh, phosphorus pentabromide and tungsten hexachloride undergo sololysis in liquid sulfur dioxide in sealed tubes. When phosphorus pentachloride is react with sulfur dioxide in liquid, it forms POCl3, phosphorus trichloride and thionyl chloride. Then phosphorus pentabromide react with sulfur dioxide liquid, phosphoric tribromate and formation of thionyl bromide here. Also tungsten hexachloride react with sulfur dioxide liquid, tungsten tetrachloride and thionyl chloride. And third one is the precipitation reaction. Again, precipitation means formation of insoluble form of the complex here or the compound. Precipitate means insoluble form of the compound. So precipitation of several insoluble compound in liquid sulfur dioxide can be carried out by treating with soluble compound sulfur dioxide. Antimony trichloride react with lithium iodide. It forms antimony triiodide plus thrice lithium chloride. Aluminum chloride react with sodium iodide. It forms sodium chloride plus Al(I3) means aluminum triiodide, and the downward arrow shows the formation of the PPT at the bottom of the beaker here. Fourth one is the last reaction. Liquid sulfur dioxide does shows any marked reducing or oxidizing properties. It is simply act as a medium for certain redox reaction. You know very well redox reaction means once the reactant undergoes oxidation and second one it goes reduction. This reaction is known as a redox reaction. Oxidation means the loss of electron and reduction means the gain of electron. One species act as a oxidizing, that means loss of electron, and second one means gain of electron, and the reaction between the oxidizing and reducing agent is known as the redox reaction. Here the reaction, potassium iodide react with antimony pentachloride. It forms the complex here. Potassium antimony means hexachloride, antimony hexachloride potassium complex, formation of antimony trichloride and 3 molecules of iodide. So in this way, I am taking some most important reaction in this PowerPoint presentation. So another reactions will be given in the uh, Xerox notes of this topic, non-aqueous solvent. So you should read it carefully and see the question will be given on the back of the, that means the last page of the notes here. Okay, thank you, and in this way I have completed the topics.